Them, Elt. The Walking Dead episode, written by Cortez Duke. The new equestrian world's gonna need Rick Grimes. Author's note. P.S. This takes place during the Grand Galloping Gala. P.P.S. The main six will be using their first gala dresses. The Walking Dead copyright Sky Bond. My Little Pony copyright Hasbro. And remember, no hateful comments. If you enjoy this story, please leave a like. Tired. Upset. Starving. Dehydrated. Grief. Yet in all of these conditions, the group has survived these hellish conditions on Earth for months, since they don't know how long it has been like this. The leader of this said group was none other than Rick Grimes, a former sheriff deputy in King County, Georgia, who woke up from a coma after getting shot by a criminal that he and his former best friend, Shane Walsh, were dealing with. And when he tried to call out for a nurse or a doctor, he saw a horrifying sight which he can't believe his own two eyes. People who were dead and dead at first. He thought that it was a dream or a hallucination, but after meeting a man named Morgan Jones and his son, Dwayne, he was told that there had been an outbreak of a virus that had spread globally and caused them dead to roam the world in an instant, and now, everyone is trying to survive this post-apocalyptic and dead world. When he was reunited with his family, there were many places they've gone trying to find a place to live. Their first stop was Atlanta, which of course was not safe, but not before Jenner of the CDC told him that they were all infected before they escaped from the building, then to the Green family farm, which of course was safe at the time, but could not hold off a massive herd of walkers. Next was the prison, in which they settled there well, but they were forced out when the governor attacked them for the second time in a row, causing it to fall after a fight which resulted in many casualties on both sides. The split group met with some new survivors and they all headed to a place called Treminus, but it turns out it was not a safe place to be there, so they destroyed it and killed all of the cannibalistic termites who hunted them down at the church. In recent events, the group lost two members. Beth Green, who was shot by Grady Memorial Hospital's leader, Dawn, when the trade was finished, and Tyrese Williams, who got bit by an dead younger twin brother and succumbed to blood loss and infection from the bite, and ever since then, they've hit rock bottom over their losses. Now Rick and his two children, Carl and Judith, along with their friends, Maggie Rhee, Nick Green, Glenn Rhee, Daryl Dixon, Rosita Espinoza, Mitch Hawthorne, Gabriel Stokes, Noah, Abraham Ford, Eugene Porter, Carol Pilter, Tara Kembler, and Sasha Williams were trying to find some sources of water, but to no avail, so they decided to head back to the van and search for a new place they can call home. They continued to drive until they saw something they never expected: a portal. Without thinking twice, they headed towards it, and soon, the portal closed afterwards. The portal opened again, and this time, the van emerged out of there, and the portal closed for good. The van continued to drive until it was all out of gas. "We're out, just like the other one," Abraham told Rick. So he walked. The group emerged out of the van and left the gasless vehicle in the forest, carrying the essential supplies they need. Some of their bags containing clothes, water bottles, lighters, and their bag full of guns, as they continued to walk to any place they can call home. Daryl and Carol decided to head out and try to find anything useful. Meanwhile, Carl handed a music box to Maggie, in which she thanked him for doing this to him. When Gabriel decided to ask her if she wants him to give a eulogy for her late younger sister, Beth, but she chastises him for abandoning his flock during the outbreak and angrily telling him that he never met Beth in the first place, and that caused Gabriel to instantly shut his mouth. Daryl and Carol went a bit of their separate ways while he decided to stay and sit in a tree, pondering on what Beth told him back in the golf clubhouse. "You're gonna miss me when I'm gone, Daryl Dixon." The words echoed in his mind as he broke down over the loss of his friend, but soon regained his composure and headed to where Carol was waiting for him. As they headed back to the group, Team Family continued their trek to a new home in this weird place, but what they didn't know is that the portal they entered also accidentally let a few walkers get into the unknown place that they were in as well. But Mitch Hawn tells her that it's not much of a serious matter. The group made their way to a somehow small village, and since it was nighttime, it was good because no one was awake at that time, and for them, it was time to dispatch the walkers. Rick told the others, which include his two children, Carl and Judith, along with Noah, Tara, Eugene, and Gabriel, to step aside while he, Mitch Hawn, Maggie, Glenn, Abraham, Rosita, Sasha, Daryl, and Carol, on whom the duo had returned from their search and found nothing as they got ready to fight the small group of walkers. "Remember, stay in line. Flank those walkers. Keep it controlled. And no use of guns," said Rick as he readied his red machete. "Well, bitch nuts. Time to do a little bit of cleaning," Abraham exclaimed as he and the others quickly got their melee weapons out to combat them. Dead one by one, the 9 survivors dispatched the walkers with quick precision. One female walker tried to bite Rick, but Daryl managed to grab her head, causing the scalp and hair to be torn off from it, which caused the blood to be spilled on the ground. Stabbing, hacking, slicing, and any way they can kill it, the survivors took care of business, and when it was done, Rick went to Carl and opened the backpack, which he'd brought out a small shovel and quickly dug a hole deep enough so that they can bury the walkers that they've killed and fill it up with dirt afterwards. Once finished, the group continued their search until Len spotted something. "Rick, look," he told him as he pointed to what the group was seeing. It was a castle on the cliff of a mountain that illuminated with lights. Team Family couldn't believe their eyes. "There somehow might be some survivors in the place. Should we go?" Maggie asked Rick. "What's your decision?" Daryl questioned their leader. "We'll go, but be ready for anything in case they're not friendly." Rick made his decision with caution on his voice. "Whatever waiting for us, it can help us find a new place for us to call home." Mitchell hopefully said. Rick's group decided to go to the location where the castle was, in which they decided to go where it will lead them to it. On their way there, they heard some talking and decided to hide out of sight. It turns out that there was a small group of men and women led by a man with a barbed wire baseball bat. This group was none other than the Saviors, and their leader was none other than Glenn Smith, a former PE teacher, and along with him are some of his companions, because the others were back in his hideout called the Sanctuary. The names of Glenn's few companions were Simon, Gavin, Regina, Jed, Joey, Gary, David, Art, Jared, Bud, and 20 nameless Saviors who were with him. Apparently, they too ended up in the unknown place, and they were waiting at the chance they had when the portal will appear again. Team Family watched them quietly and unnoticed on what the Saviors were doing, and sure enough, the other group saw the portal opened as Glenn exclaimed, "Come on, fuckholes. Let's get the fuck out of this fucking weird-ass place. Don't have to tell us twice, boss man." Simon quipped, in which all the Saviors entered the portal at once, but not before they dropped something that for them was useless when it was done. Rick's group emerged out of their hiding places. Carl got the mysterious item. It was a very large invisibility cloak that the Saviors took from an unknown place, in which the group decided to take it instead and continue on with their destination. The trek to the mysterious castle was hard and tiresome, so they decided to take a bit of rest, in which the group decided to sit near a train track. Whilst resting, the group came across 3 wild dogs nestled to it, barking at them as Rick readied his machete until suppressed bullets killed all of them, courtesy of Sasha. Not thinking twice, Rick decided to get a bunch of twigs and sticks nearby and make a fire out of them using Glenn's lighter as they cut the dogs and cooked them, in which they ate them afterwards. When it was done, the group continued on their way towards the castle on the mountain, and after a long tiring walk, they made it to the mysterious place. Knowing that nobody knows who they were, Team Family decided to quietly sneak in with the invisibility cloak, which surprisingly on them well, and what they saw shocked and surprised them. Inside the castle were not human survivors. Instead, there were creatures, and some of them were horses. No. Ponies that some have horns, some have wings, or some have none of those, while others were creatures out from mythology. Some of the females were wearing dresses and had accessories, while some of the males were wearing fancy garments. All of them realized that the portal that brought themselves in this place was a land inhabited by creatures that came out from some mythological fairy tale books. Where the hell were we? That was all in their minds at once. Apparently, they ended up in the land of Equestria, where ponies and other creatures exist, and here. The group knew that this is not Earth anymore, but with limited choices, the survivors decided to live in here because all of them were tired of and dead that they have to deal with it, to the fact that they lost a lot of their family members and friends too. Team Family decided to continue sneaking whilst the invisibility cloak was shrouding them from the side of their eyes. As the group pondered what to do next, and what they needed to do is that they need to get water, for all of them were dehydrated and did not find any source of water of any kind from their trek towards Candlelit Castle. But luck was going to turn onto them as the survivors heard the rumbling of clouds, and all of the equestrians that were in the Grand Galloping Gala had closed all doors upon learning that there will be a slight change of weather. Team Family moved up to a place where no pony can see them and took off the cloak and got some rainwater from the raindrops that were falling from the sky. Tara and Rosita decided to lie down and knelt down and lapped on it, while the others opened their mouths and drank the water at once, except for Daryl, Maggie, and Sasha, who are still mourning over the losses of Beth and Tyrese. "I'm sorry, my lord," Gabriel cried in happiness. "Everybody, get all of your bottles and fill them up quickly. Hurry up." Rick told everyone as they took all of the bottles that they had and placed them in the ground to collect water as soon as possible. But then, the rumbling sound of thunder got a bit worse as he knew that a storm is coming, in which he told them, "Let's keep moving, let's try to sneak inside the castle," shouted Daryl. "Everyone, in the cloak. Now," gestured Mitchell while holding the cloak. There was no need to be told twice, as the survivors put the cloak on them and they turned invisible in an instant. Once they were invisible, Rick and his group headed inside the door, quietly opening it without no pony noticing them and then closing it quietly afterwards. but due to the rain that put on the cloak, they unfortunately were spotted by ponies that were clad in armor, in which a unicorn took the cloak off them, and the group were caught at one samurai pony who were just minding their business at the gala stopped on what they're doing as they instantly saw the group of humans wielding weapons, and it caused all of them to be shocked and surprised to see a bunch of weird hairless apes that are not common in their world. Wasting no time, everyone minus Judith pulled out their weapons and pointed at them, getting ready for a fight. It was a standoff between Rick's group and the royal guards, which of course was halted by the arrival of the world's leaders, 2 Alicorns, and behind them were the Guardians of Harmony themselves. Both leaders ordered the human survivors and their guards to lower their weapons, which they obeyed instantly, and then asked who they were and why they were here. "My name is Rick Grimes," he introduced himself and gestured to his group. "These are my children, Carl and Judith, along with my people, Daryl Dixon, Mitch Hawthorne, Glenn Rhee, Maggie Rhee, who was formerly known as Green, Gabriel Stokes, Rosita Espinoza, Abraham Ford, Eugene Porter, Carol Pilter, Tara Kembler, Noah, and Sasha Williams." He finished his introduction and then asked them, "Are you the rulers of this place?" "We are. I am Princess Celestia," the White Alicorn introduced herself, "and I am Princess Luna," the Indigo Alicorn introduced herself next. "Me and my older sister ruled this land called Equestria." She then gestured to the 6 ponies and a dragon. "These are the bearer of the elements of harmony, Princess Twilight Sparkle, and our companions, Applejack, Fluttershy, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, and Pinkie Pie, along with the Crystal Empire's savior, Spike." The heroes greeted them with hoof and claw waves as the young monarch turned back to them. "If we may ask, why are all of you here?" "We'll explain everything we can, your majesties," Maggie assured them. Sure enough, the group took turns on telling them on how their world turned into a shitstorm because of a virus that turned the dead into the dead, and they and only the humans were infected by it, and it doesn't matter how they die because they'll come back as dead corpses ready to kill whoever gets in their sights. Team Family also told them about their recent events and why they ended up here. When it was finished, all the Equestrians can't believe what they told them about the journey the survivors made through before ending up in Equestria. Just then, Pinkie Pie started behaving oddly. "Ooh. Twitchy tail. Twitchy tail. Twitchy tail. The hell's this pink freak doing?" Abraham confusingly asked, which bothered a bit of the survivors. "It means something's about to happen," Spy told him, and the others like, "What?" Eugene asked, and Pinkie's pinky sense came true when they heard something that was unexpected. The Equestrians didn't know what that sound was, but for Team Family, it was an all too familiar sound. Walkers. The survivors, along with some of the Equestrians, headed towards the location of the sound, and in the front gate was none other than a herd of walkers that entered Candlelit due to a portal randomly opening out of nowhere. And when the main 6 realized that somehow the magic of their world caused it to tear portals once in a while, it spelled trouble in an instant. Wasting no time, Rick along with his family and friends rushed towards the door of the castle and tried to hold it to prevent the walkers from getting inside. Knowing that they needed help, and without thinking twice, Celestia told every pony to hold every door of the castle to prevent them from getting in, as every Equestrian did their part in doing that by barricading with their bodies. With the storm raging outside of it and the herd of walkers trying to get through, both Celestia and Luna, along with Twilight and her former student, Starlight, decided to use their magic to fix the tear that their world has caused. Concentrating on their magic, the 4 horned ponies channeled their magic, and with difficulty and determination, they managed to fix the damage that the tear had caused, thus sending the walkers back to post-apocalyptic Earth in an instant. With the threat gone, everybody breathed a sigh of relief as Celestia decided to welcome Team Family to Equestria, and they gladly accepted it, knowing that all of them found a new home. A lot has changed ever since they arrived in Equestria. Many moons later, along with Earth back on post-apocalyptic dead Earth, the Saviors became one of the largest communities in the world. They ruled every community from Alexandria, Hilltop, Kingdom, Oceanside, and Commonwealth, in which their ruthlessness caused them to bow in fear in front of Gan and offer their supplies to them. Otherwise, punishments will occur if they didn't obey them. Add in the fact that they also took down Alpha, Beta, and their Whisperers with simple ease. As for Rick and his family and the band of survivors, they had settled perfectly and lived their lives to the fullest. They had been vaccinated by equestrian medicine from the virus that stopped them from becoming undead, and the humans knew that they made the right choice, and in return, they defended their new home from villains that wanted to conquer Equestria for their villainous schemes, along with the equestrian heroes to help them for them. Life in this new world has never been bettered for them because the new equestrian